Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be making a delicious pizza in two ways, Bianca and the classic pizza with tomato paste. Now, the skill required for this is pretty easy. It's going to take very long because the dough needs to ferment. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to make our own dough. This dough you can also use it to make your own bread whenever you want. So it is going to take a little while. So if you want it for the night, try to start making the dough before midday. And if not, you can leave it overnight. But the good thing about it is you can decide how long you want to leave your dough fermenting. So depending on how short you are on time, there's a lot of options. So it's gonna come out amazing. You'll soon see. And without further ado, let's get cooking. Let's make our dough. So I have a stand mix in here. If you don't, you can do it by hand. Just put flour in your hands because it will get messy. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add around 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to sift it. Once we have that, I'm going to add around a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. So we're going to add 1 and 2. Now we'll mix this. Start mixing. I'm going to start doing a little bit of this. Mix all the dry ingredient first. This is really quick. This is just going to mix all the dry ingredients well. And it's not going to dirty the mixer. So, I'm going to turn it off now. So with the paddle, I'm going to place it, and while it does this, I am going to add 1.25 cups of warm water. This is what's going to make our dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly add it, and gradually, and you're going to see how this dough starts to form. I'm mixing it at medium speed to get that dough well. Now the dough is going to be very shaggy, alright? But once you see it's starting to form into a relative dough ball, like you see right here, I'm going to turn it off and lift it. Now, so, as you saw, once I have that dough, I'm going to remove the pattern which brought our dough together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change it for the dough hook. This is going to knead our dough. Now, you can knead it by hand with doing the slap and fold method. You slap and fold it, slap and fold it. This is going to stretch it. And by doing this, it's going to activate the yeast and overall improve the consistency. Now you're gonna have to do this for around 10 minutes. So it's obviously much better if you have something like a stand mixer, but if you have it by hand, your arms will hurt after a while, but you're gonna do it for around 10 minutes, and I'll show you right after this how it has to look by the time you finish kneading. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a touch of olive oil just for the taste. And once it is like this, you're gonna set it back, and in medium-low speed, or just kind of slowly, you are just going to knead your dough until it looks smooth. You'll see how it is in a few minutes. So now our dough is finally finished kneading. As you can see, the dough has a much softer look, and let me lift this real quick. You can see how smooth the dough is. Once it is like that, you can see how stretchy it is. What you're going to do is to follow. So once your dough is finally softened and has kneaded, should be around 10 minutes with this dough. What you're gonna do is you're gonna grab an oiled bowl. You grab some olive oil, you put it on a paper towel, and you spread it all along the bowl. So I'm going to unplug my machine. So we grab our dough here. Now that it's kneaded, it shouldn't stick that much and it should be pretty easy to put it all out. And we're gonna put it into this oil bowl. Now, you're gonna cover it with a plastic wrap, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna let it rest. You can either let it rest in the fridge for up to 48 hours, which will help it soften much more, or if you're in a rush, you don't put it in the fridge, you put it out at room temperature, and you're gonna leave it for 3 to 5 hours. You should wait until it doubles in size. So this dough should be up to here. Once it reaches about double in size, you'll pull it out. So here I have my dough covered in a cling film or a plastic wrap. And something you have to make sure is it's sealed tightly. You can't let air get into this, because if air gets in, then the top of the dough will harden and you will not have your soft, fluffy dough that you need. So make sure it's sealed completely tight. Try to push the center and make sure that no air can come out. And once it's done, don't leave it in the sun, but leave it outside. You can also maybe leave it in like a warm oven, and you want to let it rise. So once it rises, we'll see the results. So it's been a few hours, and if you can see, the dough has already risen about double its size. So now what we're going to do is we're going to line our workstation with some flour. And this part is going to be very simple, but all we need to do is to place our dough onto our workstation. Flour your hands first. Ooh, you can tell it's really soft, but we're gonna flour our hands first. We're gonna remove the dough out of the bowl. Much softer now. And what we're gonna do, you can weigh it if you want, but if you have a bit more experience, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have to cut this into two, because this is a double portion. So with each portion, I'm gonna move this down a bit so you can see, with each portion, to shape it into a ball, you're going to push downwards with the bottom of your hands while you rotate. This is going to give it its ball shape and make it ready for when you need to cook. So you're gonna do this until a soft ball starts to form. You can see here that our first ball is done. So we're gonna get our second dough, and we're gonna do exactly the same thing to it. So we're just gonna continue doing this until we have two perfect and beautiful dough balls. Now they should be the same size. You can weigh them if you want. Weigh both, then cut it in half, and then weigh half. There are also some pizza tools that cut it perfectly, but you can't just do it by hand. So here I have my two. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lightly dust them with flour once more, and I'm gonna give them a final proofing, in which with a kitchen cloth, I'm going to cover it, and this is going to be for 1 hour. This is going to grow a bit more and be ready to stretch it and to start cooking. And check our dough balls. We see how they have substantially risen quite a bit. So once your dough is finally ready, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the dough out, you're gonna stretch it. The ways you can stretch it is you can stretch it by hand, and then you can lift it up, move it around your hands, and let gravity do its thing. Very important, you don't want to stretch it too much, because then holes will appear. That will kind of ruin your pizza. So what you're gonna want to do is very carefully stretch it, and then once you're content, you're gonna grab the edges and stretch them a bit until you're happy with your pizza size. Now, you can do it bianca or normal. So once you have it stretched out, you can do it on a pizza stone or a pizza oven, but if you don't, you just put it into your regular pizza tray. You place it on top of the tray, and then if you're doing normal pizza, you add the tomato, you put it in the oven. If you're doing bianca, you just put it in the oven. Because with normal ovens, the cheese will be melted before the dough continues cooking, finishes to cook, so you're just gonna put it first. Now, While you put it, I'm just gonna prepare my toppings. I have my cheese already here. I have my salami. I have some anchovies, and I have a different kind of salami. I already spread out the tomato paste, and your oven, before you start stretching it out, probably 10 minutes before the dough is ready, you are going to preheat the oven to 250 Celsius for around 10 minutes before you start cooking. Preferably the highest temperature you can, but normal ovens just go up to 250. So my two pizzas are already there, my bianca and my normal, and I can see they're starting to get ready, so I'm just gonna start putting the toppings. The first thing I'm gonna do is add the cheese for both of them. I am just going to add my salami to the pizza. So, here you have my salamis. I'm just gonna spread them over the pizza. The salami, I have some different kinds of salamis. And I'm also going to add anchovies and some anchovy oil to the tomato pizza. And now for the bianca pizza. The bianca, I'm gonna do it a bit more lightly, but again, I just like them with salami and cheese. So with this, I am just gonna put it in the oven once more. You should not have turned it off. So we open the oven and we put in the pizzas once more. These pizzas should not take very long. In total, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes. And if the pizzas have already started cooking, this should be around 10 minutes total, 10 to 12, I suggest. Our pizza is finally ready, so let's take it out. Woo! So first up, we have the tomato pizza, which is already getting toasted. And second, we have our bianca. So as you can see, the cheese is perfectly melted, and the crust, while it doesn't have that perfect leopard dotted and brown color that you get in a pizza oven or with a pizza stone, it's so perfectly cooked, and it will taste amazing. So now all that's left is to cut our pizzas. If you have a pizza cutter, obviously that's better, but you can use a pair of scissors or just a regular knife instead. So, if you have a pizza cutter, don't go back and forth. Try to make long, strong cuts to make those straight lines. So there we have it. Delicious and, well, not quick, but easy pizza that anyone can make. You know, try it out. You won't regret it. So, oh my god. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe even put in the comments what you want to see me cook next. So, see you in the next one.